The federal government's putting a gun to BC's head over policing services. Ottawa is demanding a 20-year contract for RCMP service in British Columbia, or else. The Mounties serve cities and towns up and down the island and throughout the province, but that could come to an end, and it may require a provincial police force to take their place. CTV's Aaron Glazier reports.
It's an ultimatum with wide-ranging consequences. The federal government has threatened to disband the RCMP in British Columbia if a new deal can't be reached. Talks have broken down to ink their services for another 20 years, and that could mean the face of RCMP detachments up and down Vancouver Island is about to change.
They've had a tough go in the last little while. They've dealt with some serious cases. They've done a phenomenal job. Let's get this resolved so they don't wear the brunt of what I see as politics at federal and provincial level.
Policing costs are a major issue. The province paid more than $300 million for RCMP services this year, and municipalities together paid another $500 million. The take-it-or-leave-it deal means no guarantees for the next 2 decades.
From our perspective, the current federal proposal does not meet the expected outcomes that municipalities have indicated to the province, and so we need to get back to the negotiating table.
It's a dispute that would affect more than 6,400 Mounties in British Columbia, the largest contingent among provinces and territories negotiating a new contract, some of which have already settled.
Saskatchewan has accepted the agreement, Alberta has accepted the agreement, and British Columbia will have to decide whether or not to accept the agreement.
After 4 years of negotiating, the Conservative government isn't pulling any punches, but the New Democrats say the feds are neglecting their duty to protect British Columbians.
And commit that it'll stop playing fast and loose with the safety of British Columbians in these negotiations by telling British Columbia to take it or leave it.
The only other option is to scrap the RCMP and build a provincial police force.
We would be better off to have a homegrown provincial police service that would meet the needs of the citizens of BC. We are going to be able to determine what our service levels should be, not only in rural BC, but in metro areas.
If a new deal is not signed, RCMP could be removed from British Columbia by 2014. But that's not the only thing we would lose, says Saunders. What about that iconic Mountie image?
You walk down Vancouver streets here and you see, I've seen 3 different booths supporting the RCMP, and we can't lose that icon.
Saunders wants to see a deal done before the November 30th deadline to keep the RCMP tradition alive and detachments up and down Vancouver Island safe.
Aaron Glazier joins us now with more on the story from Esquimalt, a municipality currently served by the Victoria Police Department, but this decision could also affect Esquimalt, Aaron.
That's right, Hudson. The Esquimalt police contract is currently up for review, and Esquimalt Council has sent a report to Police Services Branch and the Minister of Public Safety in late June to determine whether or not they would like to contract the RCMP or stick with the Victoria Police Department. So these negotiations are hampering that decision, and as well, the Victoria Police Department would like to finalize their annual budget, and they cannot do that until they know how large their service area will be.
But when you spoke to the Esquimalt Mayor, Barb Desjardins, at the Union of BC Municipalities today, she told you it's out of her hands at this point, right?
She did not want to answer my questions, but they are meeting and working on the terms. That is all that she would say to me today.
All right, Aaron Glazier reporting. Aaron, thank you.
You're welcome.